Peppa Pig, best friends. Once upon a time, Peppa's best friend, Suzy Sheep, came to play. I have something to show you, said Suzy. Suzy held up a photograph of a baby sheep. Look, it's me, said Suzy. You're not a baby, Suzy, said Peppa, shaking her head. This is an old photo, Suzy explained. It was taken when I was a baby. Peppa snorted. She didn't remember Suzy being a baby. That was just silly. Suzy pointed at Peppa. In the olden days, you were a baby too, she said. I don't remember being a baby, said Peppa. But you were, insisted Suzy. Ask your mummy. Peppa and Suzy raced inside. Mummy Pig was working on the computer. Mummy, cried Peppa, Suzy is making up stories. No, I'm not, Suzy said. Peppa told Mummy Pig about Suzy's silly idea. I don't remember being a baby, Peppa insisted. But you were a baby, Peppa, said Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig pulled up a picture of a baby pig on the computer. Who do you think this is, Peppa? She asked. Peppa thought that the baby looked like her cousin, Baby Alexander. Is it Baby Alexander? She asked. No, replied Mummy Pig. That's you as a baby, Peppa. Peppa was surprised. She had been a baby. Peppa and Suzy giggled. Baby Peppa looked very cute. George and Daddy Pig came in to see what all the fuss was about. Look, Daddy, said Peppa. That's me as a baby. I remember it, said Daddy Pig. That photo was taken on our first day in this house. What do you mean? Asked Peppa. Daddy Pig told Peppa, Suzy, and George that they had moved into their new house when Peppa was very little. We brought all our things on the top of her car, he said. Mummy Pig put up some pictures, said Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig put up a shelf, said Mummy Pig. And Grandpa Pig made us a lovely flower garden. Peppa and Suzy went outside. There was no flower garden at this house. Why don't we have a flower garden now? Peppa asked. We used to, but Daddy Pig looked after it, Mummy Pig sighed. Said Daddy Pig, embarrassed. We have the wrong kind of soil for flowers. Was Suzy my friend in the olden days? Asked Peppa. Daddy Pig nodded. Of course, he said. You and Suzy haven't always been best friends. Peppa wondered what game she played with Suzy when they were little. Did we jump up and down in muddy puddles? She asked. No, Mummy Pig laughed. You were babies. You couldn't even walk yet. What did we do when we were babies? Asked Suzy. You cried, you burped, and you laughed, said Mummy Pig. Suzy and Peppa giggled. It must have been so silly being babies. Baby Peppa, baby Suzy. Then you grew into toddlers, continued Mummy Pig, and you played together all the time. But where was George? Peppa asked. He was a baby in my tummy, said Mummy Pig. Peppa thought for a moment. Daddy Pig's tummy was even bigger than Mummy's. Is there a baby in there? She asked. No, Peppa, chuckled Daddy Pig. This tummy is pure muscle. Soon, George was born, Mummy Pig said, and Granny and Grandpa Pig brought him a very special present. Can you guess what it was, Peppa? Peppa knew just what present it must have been. Mr. Dinosaur, she cried. Daddy Pig said that little Peppa and Suzy liked to do everything together. They like to jump, dance, and run all around all over the place. Then one day, said Mommy Pig, you saw something amazing. A muddy puddle. You love jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Together, said Mommy Pig. Peppa, George, and Suzy all ran outside. I still love muddy puddles, cried Peppa. Me too, cried Suzy. Peppa, George, and Suzy looked for the biggest muddy puddle they could find and jumped right in. Daddy Pig brought his camera. Let's take a photo of you, Suzy and George now, Peppa, he said. Yes, exclaimed Peppa, because Suzy and I were best friends in the olden days, and we are still best friends now. Little or big, Peppa and Suzy will always be best friends, and they will always love jumping up and down in muddy puddles.